All right, let's talk about something critical in the AI world that honestly gets overlooked way too often in the rush to get things deployed. We're going to tackle the whole idea of AI security, and specifically, we're going to tear down this myth that you can just finish an AI. As you'll see, continuous security, it's not just a nice to have, it's absolutely essential. So picture this, you've finally done it. After all those long months of development, training, and testing, your AI system is officially live. It's out there in the wild, analyzing data, helping your users, and doing exactly what you built it to do. And hey, that's a massive achievement. You should be proud.
But here's the thing, is it really ready for what's coming next? Because the second your AI hits the real world, the real test begins. That safe, controlled lab environment, gone. And it's replaced by something, well, a whole lot more chaotic and unpredictable.
Yeah, we really need to dig into this jump from the development lab to the real world. Think of it like this. Your AI just went from a sterile, predictable playground straight onto a live, unseen battlefield.
And I mean, the difference is just night and day. Back in the lab, you're in total control, right? You're feeding it perfectly clean data, you're using predictable inputs, and you're testing it against threats you already know about. But out in the real world, phew, it's the total opposite. The environment is a free-for-all. You've got adversarial users who are actively trying to break your stuff, and the threats, they're changing so fast you can barely keep up.
So this huge gap between the lab and the real world, that's where the vulnerabilities creep in. Let's break down the 4 big hidden dangers that can take a super powerful AI tool and, over time, turn it into a major security risk if you just leave it sitting there. First up, danger number 1, evolving threats. The problem here is simple, but it's huge. The bad guys, they don't stand still. They are always innovating.
I mean, just think about it. Attackers are constantly cooking up new phishing schemes, finding clever new ways to do prompt injection, and figuring out how to get around all those content filters you worked so hard on. An AI model that was trained on last month's threats, it's already obsolete. It's basically a sitting duck.
Okay, danger number 2 is something called model drift. And this one's a little different. This isn't even about attackers. This is about the simple fact that the world changes, but your AI model doesn't.
And the consequences of that are pretty serious. You know, a phishing classifier that was great last year might start missing new types of attacks. A network anomaly model could start seeing perfectly normal, new traffic patterns as a threat, which just floods your team with false alarms. Even the way people use your product changes over time. If your AI isn't keeping up, its performance is just going to go downhill. It's inevitable.
All right, on to danger number 3, malicious misuse. This is where things get interesting because this is where your own users can become the adversary, sometimes without even meaning to.
You know how it is. Once an AI is out there, people are going to poke at it. They're going to test its limits. They'll use techniques like prompt injection, which is basically just using crafty language to try and trick the AI into breaking its own rules. We've all seen those screenshots of public chatbots being coaxed into saying wild, unsafe stuff. People will also try to get around your rate limits, or maybe even try to steal the model itself. A static, unchanging defense just stands no chance against a creative human.
And that brings us to our 4th and final danger: inevitable failures. And this is a big one. We just have to accept a fundamental truth. No AI model is perfect. They're all going to make mistakes. Sometimes they'll hallucinate, which is just a fancy way of saying they make stuff up. They might misclassify a really important piece of data. They can completely misinterpret your company's own policies. And they will definitely fail on some bizarre edge case that you could never have dreamed of testing for. The key takeaway here is that even if there are no attackers and the world doesn't change, the model itself has built-in weaknesses that you absolutely have to watch for and fix.
Okay, so we've got these 4 huge dangers. What on earth is the solution? Well, it's not about trying to build a perfect, bulletproof AI right out of the gate. That's impossible. It's about building a resilient one. And the answer, the real game changer, is something called the security feedback loop. This is what turns your AI from a static product into a living, breathing, adapting defense.
At the very core of this idea is what we call operational feedback. It's a simple concept, but it's incredibly powerful. It just means you are constantly collecting real-world data from your deployed model, analyzing its performance, spotting threats and failures, and then using all of that intel to make it better. It's a non-stop cycle of learning and improving. And we can break this whole process down into a really simple 4-step cycle. Step 1, collect. You gather up all that real-world data from the live model. Step 2, analyze. You sift through that data to find those dangers we just talked about. New threats, model drift, misuse, you name it. Step 3, update. This is where you actually fix things. You improve the model, you adjust the prompts, you make the security controls stronger. And finally, step 4, redeploy. You push that new, improved version back out into the world. And then the whole cycle starts right over again.
So what does this actually look like in practice? A really mature, robust feedback system isn't just one piece of software. It's a combination of a few key parts all working together in harmony.
Let's break it down. First, you need really solid data capture to log inputs, outputs, and user behavior. Then, you need smart security analytics to automatically spot weird patterns and potential attacks. Now, this next one is crucial. You need a system for human feedback. This lets your actual human experts step in, correct the AI's mistakes, and flag bad outputs. All of that information then fuels the iterative improvement process, the retraining, and the updates. And finally, this all gets wrapped up in audit and governance, so you have a clear record of risks, fixes, and model versions.
So let's zoom out. Why does all of this matter so much? Because what we're really talking about here is a fundamental shift in how we think about AI. We have to move away from the idea that AI is just a one-time project that you deploy and you're done. We have to start seeing it as a living, breathing operation that you run and manage day in and day out.
And when you make that shift, the benefits are huge. You stop just reacting to problems and you start proactively finding threats before they blow up. You're constantly correcting for that model drift so your AI stays effective. You can spot and stop misuse almost as soon as it happens. But the biggest win? You end up with AI deployments that are genuinely safer and more reliable, systems you can actually trust. It's all about keeping humans in the loop and maintaining control.
And look, this isn't just some nice idea I'm throwing out there. This is quickly becoming the new standard for how you govern AI. It's a central pillar of major frameworks like the AI Risk Management Framework from NIST. This is what the experts, the regulators, and the industry leaders are all starting to expect.
So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about for your own AI systems. After you've pushed it live, is your AI actually learning from the world and getting smarter and stronger every single day? Or is it just a static snapshot from the day you launched it, slowly becoming more and more outdated and a bigger and bigger vulnerability? The answer to that question is really going to define the security and the success of your AI.